Hello everyone. You may not know this, but we here at Bad Music Video Theater are big musical theater fans. We did all the plays and musicals in high school, and we've even been to some live theater ourselves, thank you very much. Up until now, I haven't really gotten a chance to put any of this experience to use. There aren't a lot of music videos for our popular musical theater standards, which boggles my mind. The music video seems like a perfect format for the rich, deep storytelling that only musical theater can provide. And yet, there's one glorious example of a crossover hit. For one bright shining moment in 1984, we got a song co-written by a titan of theater and certified #1 hitmakers. Let's take a look. Oh, this looks like garbage. One Night in Bangkok comes from the 1984 rock musical Chess. In the late 1970s, lyricist Tim Rice began working on a project detailing the rising US-USSR tensions through the prism of a long-enduring chess rivalry. He approached his longtime collaborator Andrew Lloyd Webber about contributing the music, but Webber declined, citing his packed schedule.
He was working on Cats, I think, or Phantom, I can't remember, but he was intrigued but not gripped. And to be honest, I did go to one or two other people, including the late, great Marvin Hamlish, but nobody really thought it was a good idea until I met Björn and Benny.
You never said. We always thought we were your first choice.
Producer Richard Voss suggested to him that half of ABBA were looking to get into composing for theater, specifically the male half, Benny and Björn. As Rice was a fan of the band, he agreed, and the three wrote the show over the next 2 years. The musical follows an American and a Soviet chess player, helpfully labeled the American and the Russian on the score. The plot, where it has one, essentially goes like this. Our American hero faces off against the famed Russian chess player in a world chess tournament. Despite his terrific performance in-game, he is constantly scolded by his second, Florence, to tone down his wild behavior.
Are you completely insane? This is a chess tournament!
Eventually, she leaves him, and he forfeits the game to the Russian. The Russian then wins by default, and flees to England with Florence to seek asylum. End Act 1.
That's true. Groban does like his ladies to pop.
Act 2 begins a year later, with the Russian preparing to defend his title. This year's World Chess Tournament takes place in Bangkok, and the American shows up to cover the games as a reporter. This is where our story begins. For the role of the American, the composers cast Murray Head, whom Rice had previously worked with on the album of Jesus Christ Superstar. The video follows Head as he walks through the quote-unquote oriental setting and watches over the various chess games. Geez, I know that this is a song about chess from a musical called Chess, but they are really hitting us over the head with the chess references. I really wish that I knew chess moves so that I could impress you all with, oh, this is the Anglican double cross or whatever, but this is all just over my head. Finally, we have looked upon the face of God, and it's this one English dude. Yeah, it makes sense that this song came from the minds of ABBA. There's a lot of showiness in this video. See, because the dancers look like chess pieces. Oh no, she murdered Murray Head.
He's going to sacrifice himself. No, you can't! There must be another way!
Does this video seem a little bit racist to anybody else? It feels like it's just a mishmash of different Asian cultures, thrown together with different barbs about how backwards Thailand is. Maybe I'm not the right person to make this distinction, given my abject whiteness, but it definitely doesn't feel like a realistic portrayal of Asian cultures. Tim Rice claimed in an interview that despite a major chess tournament actually taking place in the Philippines, he decided to set the fictional tournament in Bangkok because he had been to Bangkok and he could write from experience.
The chess world championships have taken place in Manila in the Philippines, but I've never been to Manila, or I went when I was 10, but I didn't feel I could write about Manila at all. So, as I have been to Bangkok, as the lyric says, when you play at this level, there's no ordinary venue. You never know where chess will end up. It could be Iceland or the Philippines.
He never actually says how long he was in Bangkok, so given how randomly the references to Thai culture are thrown into the lyrics, it really feels like that guy you knew in high school who went on the class trip to Paris and came back as an expert on French culture.
I
I normally have played the role, whatever role I played, on stage first and then recorded the cast album. In this instance, I shall be making the record first, which is what we've just begun to do.
As both a marketing and fundraising tactic for the eventual stage show, the team put out the completed score as an album, released in the fall of 1984. Rice had already done this with Jesus Christ Superstar with high acclaim.
In other words, make the album first, the album before the show, to see if the music was any good, because after all, the music and the lyrics, the score, that's the key factor for any successful musical. We made the album, and in order to help the album, we put some of the songs out as singles.
The album hit number 47 on the Billboard Hot 200, but was more successful in the composer's home countries. It was a top 10 hit album in the UK, and thanks to Benny and Björn's popularity at home, racked up 7 weeks as the number 1 selling album in Sweden. The song itself hit number 12 on the UK charts and number 3 in the US and Sweden. And it's certainly the best remembered song of Murray Head's career. His 2 US charting singles come from his collaborations with Rice, and this song easily beat out Superstar, reaching the top 10 in 11 countries.
Because one of the things I think that has changed so much in the business is that in the old days, songs that came out of shows had a life of their own in terms of the pop charts. I mean, you could listen to the radio and you could hear Some Enchanted Evening. I mean, it would be there. What has happened is that rock and roll has so taken over radio. It bothers me that you don't ever hear show music anymore on radio. I mean, at least I don't. Maybe someplace it's playing, but I don't know where it is.
The song was banned by Thailand's mass communication organization, who wrote that its lyrics cause misunderstanding about Thai society and show disrespect towards Buddhism. The verse's lyrics do criticize Thai culture, although they come from the American, who in the show is not quite the most understanding of other cultures. Chess is not exactly the best remembered show in the hearts and minds of theatergoers. It's a cult classic for the diehard fans, but mostly it's just seen as an oddity. Because it was written first as an album and then as a stage play, the songs were written not to need a book, telling a full story without dialogue. Several productions have added a book over the years, thus muddying the water of a tightly written score.
Technically, I would guess it's an opera in the sense that there is no spoken dialogue, or if there is, it will be very, very minor linking passages, which certainly won't appear on the record. So in that sense, it's operatic in its construction.
For a lot of people, One Night in Bangkok is the one known highlight. The video was actually released on VHS with 4 other videos from the Chess soundtrack, and somehow it's the best of the bunch. The video for The Arbiter is the diet version of this video, with all the interesting parts taken out. Pity the Child is overly sappy and sentimental. And Nobody's Side and I Know Him So Well, the emotional high points of the show, are completely undercut by the laughably 80s neon laser effects.
With all due respect to Mr. Kasparov, what the hell were you thinking?
I find it really strange that a single from a chess-based musical would both become such a runaway international hit and inspire this absolutely awful music video with just enough cultural insensitivity to remind you it's the 80s. Trust me, there is absolutely no way you can make chess cool.
Anya Taylor-Joy, what can I say? You brought the sexy back to chess.
Gross. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm very glad that I got to flex my musical theater nerd muscles a little bit here. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. If you know of any terrible music videos that you'd love to see me examine, drop them in the comments. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.
Michael has a suggestion.
Yeah.
He thinks that you, like, yeah, baby. Yeah.
If you can sing that in the ending to make it more, more guts to it, you know.
Yeah.
Baby! Things like that, little things like that could.
Sexual overtones.
Yeah, right.